I appreciate you all being here. My name is Lisa Meacham. I am Human Resource Specialist with Assistance Plus. I am the acting co-chair right now of the DV Task Force with Michelle. However, I have informed that I would like to step down. So we're looking for another individual who would really love to co-chair the task force meeting. They do some amazing things in this community. Many of you are members of that as well. If you are interested, please reach out to myself or Michelle, and I will remain until we have somebody to take my seat. With that being said, too, I will inform you all that I am going to need to step down from my position as the president of SCARP. My role does not allow me the time that I need, or that this committee and this meeting needs in order for us to move forward with what we want to do and to still be a major, change catalyst in the community. I will stay active until we have somebody else, but I would like to put that in our minutes and look for a possible replacement no later than February of next year, if possible. I have had, this is amazing, and you all are wonderful people, and I am honored to have been a member and a part of all of this and all of you for many, many years, and I'll stay as active as I can. With that, I'm going to pass it on to Michelle. Good morning.
Sorry, my phone rang at the exact same time, and it's never on, but I'm on call this week. So I'm Michelle, the Family Violence Project. I'm the Community Awareness and Prevention Educator. Really glad to see you all this morning. I know it's been a while, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Rob, good morning to you, sir.
Hey there, Rob Rogers, Kennebec Behavioral Health, Director of Substance Use Prevention and Grant Services, and the Respect Me program, which is a certified domestic violence intervention program working with females.
Andrea, good morning.
Good morning. I'm happily, so I have to eat something before I'm allowed to take my vitamins. And I have these awesome fish oil gummies that taste so good. I look forward to them every morning. Sorry. I am the development director at KV-CAP. And I have been, I was a member of SCARP way back in the day. And I have not had the time to be able to join these meetings on a regular basis, but I would like to stay connected. And I did want to let folks know that I may have to jump off at 10. I may have another commitment. I'm still waiting for that confirmation, but I'm happy to be here this morning.
We're glad that you're here. Thank you. Linda, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Linda McKenzie from Somerset Public Health. I'm the project manager for the Pathways to Recovery project and grant.
Serena, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Serena. I'm a family service coordinator for KV-CAP.
Good morning, Jody.
Good morning. I am from Catholic Charities of Maine. I am the program coordinator for the search and RSVP programs.
Good morning, Stacy.
Stacy Austin, Kennebec Behavioral Health. I'm the recovery coach coordinator for Somerset and Franklin County.
Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Tara Harvey, KV-CAP.
Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Sharon Kimball, Northern Light, Sebastopol Valley Hospital. I work on the RCORE grant.
Good morning, Bree.
Good morning, I'm Bree. I work for Maine State Housing Authority, specifically with the Family Self-Sufficiency Program.
Good morning, Dana.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dana Hamilton with KV-CAP. I'm a resource navigator, as is Tara, who forgot to tell us what she does. So happy to be here and to see everybody.
Good morning, Elisa. And I butcher your name every time.
Okay. That's okay. This is Elisa Sousa. I work for Crisis and Counseling. I'm a manager of community case management.
We're glad everybody's here this morning. Next on our agenda is an update on the community fridge work group. I don't believe we had a work group. If not, I was not part of that. Dana's shaking her head.
Full disclosure, I knew I was on the group, but we have not made a time to meet. So
Okay.
We
that's a
have
very
not.
minimal update.
Yeah, no.
And
we will
Karen
in
is
the
not
new
here.
Oh, I'll hoodwink her. Don't you worry. I got her number.
Okay. Well, I know with her new role, I know she recently started a new position.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm optimistic by the next time we meet, we'll have an update for you.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
So an update that I have is SCARP's account. We are still, as far as, our funding, we've not paid anything out. We've not taken anything in. I don't have the exact numbers, and our treasurer is out and unable to attend this meeting. So we should have an update as well. Make sure that it's in our minutes so that it goes out consistently.
I have an update for the resource fair or whatever, if you want me to give that now, or I can wait.
Oh, no, please. That's perfect.
Okay.
That's part of what we were talking about anyway. That's our next piece.
Okay, so I met with the staff at KBCC yesterday. They have set March 29th, 11 to 1 for the job fair, kind of job fair, more like job readiness fair / resource fair. Unfortunately, they're going to have it at the Fairfield campus rather than the Hinckley one, which is disappointing to me, but it is what it is. So, and at this point, I would say that, certainly whatever folks we can get, details will be forthcoming on how to make sure you have a table and all that. But I'd say that whatever nonprofits, especially that are offering support systems to folks as they go back to work or go to work, period. So, childcare, in-home support for those who are taking care of their parents or an ailing partner. And any other, we just need to get the word out there that there's help for you all somewhere. So just be thinking about that set, save the date for March 29th. And most of our agencies cover both Kennebec and Somerset County, which is good. So it might not necessarily be something that people view as a SCARP supported, event, but that's not a bad thing, because the main thing is we want to get information out to folks. So I don't think we necessarily have to take credit for it other than, yay among ourselves or whatever. But that's what I have so far. We're going to be meeting, I think, every 2 weeks. I'm going to miss a couple of those meetings, but they're really good at keeping me informed. Someone takes good notes. So that's where it's at.
Nice. Thank you for the update. When we had our in-person meeting, we did some brainstorming around ways of getting the word out and how can we spread, to folks in need, what resources are available to them. We had a few suggestions, such as utilizing the Channel 11 marquee or marquee signs, the resource fair that that Dana's speaking of, some informational panels. I know we discussed utilizing ROAR for some of, for some word of mouth and way to get the word out that the resources are available for folks. And we'd like to know what your thoughts are, any avenues that you have found is a good way to get the word out, get your word out about your own agency or the services that you're providing, so that we can, reach as many folks as we can within Somerset County.
I've been listening more and more to the local radio station, Hoosgow or whatever. Definitely, I think we should be connecting with them and see if we can. I don't know whether I haven't heard the full array. It's usually on the way into work or on the way to something. So, but it must be run by people mainly my age, because the music is mainly my age. music from the 60s or whatever, 50s and 60s. Anyway, yeah, I think we need to, I'm not even sure who to connect with at the radio station. They probably have something. I haven't thought to look online to see, and the TV station in Madison. I think, Michelle, you've done interviews for the TV station in Madison, yeah? I think Rob may have too.
Yeah, John Harlow runs the show over there. So if someone wants his contact information or wants me to contact, I'm happy to. And I do have a contact for Huskow also. I can put all that information in the chat if that's helpful.
Yeah, definitely. At least or send it to Brittany so that she's able to put it in. And oh my goodness, Brittany, we never even introduced you. I am so bad. I am so bad.
That's okay. I enjoyed listening to all of you introduce yourselves, but yes, I'm Brittany. I am the community health educator at Reddington, and I am also the secretary for SCARP. So if you notice that I'm not looking at all of you, it's only because I'm typing minutes.
And prime reason why I'm not focused. And so it's very important that somebody else be able to take this role and really project this group forward. And Brittany, I feel terrible. I feel terrible. You
It's
do so
really
much. And
okay.
so Michelle will provide us with some, hi, Linda.
Go ahead, finish your thought. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Michelle, if you wouldn't mind sending the contact information to Brittany, please. Thank you.
So Huskow Radio will do public announcements for free for nonprofits. We've run some public service announcements around Narcan and other things. They even did the recording for it. Like, we sent them the script, they did the recording, asked us to check it over, it was okay, and they played it. So yeah, I think they're going to be really easy to work with. The contact that I had is a fellow Cornvilleite, so I know him pretty well. I can reach out to him if you'd like to find out. I mean, do we have something that we want to share, or is it just like an exploration? Like, let me know what the ask is.
Okay. I know right now we were exploring our options as to how to get as much of the word out. We don't have anything written up at this point as to what we want to present to anybody.
Okay. So just let me know. I'm happy to reach out and either ask, like, what do we need to do to get information, or out into the radio, or yeah, just let me know. I'm happy to make the connection.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, because something going through my mind is maybe spotlighting. Is there, a particular agency or resource that we could do and do that on a rotating basis, so to speak? That might be good. Hi, Rob.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I like what you just said, Lisa, as far as maybe it's a spotlight, because the concern I have is SCARP being sort of this collection of agencies. Some agencies may not actually be advertising because they have a current capacity issue. And with waiting lists being so long as it is, they're not in a place where they're actually promoting their services. So I just wanted to be mindful of that. So.
That's a good point, right? Because we don't want to deter people from reaching out if we've, encourage them to do so as well. Part of it too, I think, is really just, what is the current need? So, we know that heating costs and energy fuel, so maybe spotlighting those, and eligibility. I mean, eligibility is different for a lot of folks, but we can at least give some type of idea, on, KVCAP and how to reach them or their fuel assistance program, something like that, so that we're really hitting what the immediate need is. A couple of local food pantries, where can you access those in your town, stuff like that, so that we're really targeting more specific. I think that's a really good idea.
Well, it may be that we, give out the Facebook connection there and let people know that they can go there to find out what's going on. I think it's twofold. One is getting that information out to the public. Here's what's available to you. But the other thing is bringing in more agencies just to keep all of us updated as to what everybody is doing and working together and trying not to duplicate. So we're really a kind of a, you know, twofold group here. When we meet, it's really very the public has always been encouraged or invited to join or whatever, but it's really agency driven as far as the actual meetings. So the more the merrier, but then we need to get word out of what all we do to support the community so they know where they can reach out.
Agreed. So we're still contributing and, well, not contributing, that's the wrong word, but we're still, you know, doing that networking piece as well, like we consistently do. That's good. Right. Because we wanted to be able to recruit more local agencies and business owners as well.
And just to remind people, if they want things out there, to send the information to either Brittany or me. I think we're the only two posting right now. Are we, Britt? Is someone else also posting? Who's posting on Facebook?
I don't know who's actively posting, but the people who have access to post are me, you, Sonia, and Lisa. Did you want access for that? I couldn't remember.
I don't think I do, because I'm really
Okay.
not up on the Facebook thing. I'm negligent when it comes to that.
That's fine. Yeah. So I don't know, but those are the people that have access to it.
Okay. If folks don't have the information you want posted in a JPEG form, if you send it to me, I have the ability to change it over with Adobe. I have the Adobe thing to change that. So if you send me a Word or a PDF document, I can change it over in order to, because we can't post Word and PDFs as far as I know on the site, on the Facebook page. So, but I can transform that or whatever. Yeah. So remember, when you put things out, you know, send it to us to post on Facebook so that the public can go to the website on Facebook and see what's going on or what's available to them.
Any other thoughts?
I like the idea of like spotlight, like maybe if they would be willing to do like an interview, 10 or 15-minute interview. I could see where a family violence project could talk about their resources, especially through the dredges of winter, right? We need those support pieces and information, recovery coaches, let people know about what a recovery coach is, right? And there's this great resource locally, you know, possibly someone from KB CAP talking about fuel assistance, and like I think Dana or somebody said, what are the things that people need right now, right? How can we help the most and get that word out there? And whatever, you know, if they could like record that, like if someone at Blue Scout could record that, then you could just send it to John Harlow and ask him to play that on the Madison channel too. Get a twofer.
And what I learned from the radio station is they usually do like 1-minute PSAs, and they can do like multiples of them. But yeah, I like the idea of doing like, it makes me think of like a podcast of like, you know, an interview, and it can be like the video can be, you know, on the TV show, and the audio can be on the radio, and it can, I think John also uploads things to YouTube and Facebook. So it like, you know, I wonder if they work together a lot in that capacity, doing that kind of thing.
I have a question for the group. Do we know who our community connectors are? Like I know Dana is, right? She's a resource person. Tara, it sounds like you are too. Somerset Public Health, we have Cynthia Courier, who's a resource navigator. Do we have, like, I don't know, like who are the people in our community that actually we could refer people to that could help them with applying for Maine Care, help them connect with a provider, or help them connect with KB CAP? Because what I'm hearing is sometimes people that are really, really struggling are afraid, right? They don't, like, they want help. It's almost like they want peer support. Like, can you help me connect with someone? Where you or I would just pick up the phone and say, hey, Andrea, where do I get this information? Or hey, Rob.
Right.
They won't do that, right? For lots of reasons. They may not have phone, they may not have internet, they may not have transportation. They might be afraid to just talk to somebody. So those resource connectors in our community, I think, will play a vital role in this work too, to just help support people.
Well, I would say definitely Kristen Plummer and her crew through the Family Enrichment Council. And they see a lot of parents, and a lot of times parents are reaching out for things like diapers, which for a lot of folks, I think, is an easier ask. And so they are more likely to reach out because it's something that they desperately need for their child. So they might be more likely to reach out for that. And they connect folks to lots of different resources, whether they send them to our resource navigators or other referrals to other places. Yeah.
Yes, Stacy.
I was going to say we're resource brokers at the Recovery Coaching Center. All my coaches, that seems to be probably like 75% of my recovery coach's job is looking for resources. So I try to keep a huge list, and this is why I go to 40 million meetings. It seems like, trying to connect people with resources in the area that they're in. So it's like anything from, oh my God, I got to lead. So last SCARP meeting, I had 2 people call the person that had apartments for rent in Madison that Lisa mentioned. It's like picking up things because we're always looking for housing. We're always looking for food banks or free dinners or the clothes closets, or what is the transportation looking like? Where is this going? What trainings are available, what educational resources are out there, anything and everything. I've had people calling me like, where can I get Christmas presents for my kids? All of a sudden, the deadlines are down and people and I'm like reaching out to, and I remembered Elisa had said that she had a contact. So I'm reaching out to her, and then people are sending me like, hey, on Facebook, someone saying that they want to adopt a family for Christmas. So, I mean, people know, this is what I do. I'm connecting people with resources. So I'm always writing things down and putting things out there. So my coaches will come to me and say, hey, I've got this issue. What can I do? Okay, let's figure it out. These are your options. Give these phone numbers, give these links, give these trainings. So we're constantly connecting people in the recovery community with the resources throughout the state of Maine, not just in Maine. I'm not just in Somerset County. Yeah, sometimes not even just in Maine.
I can say that Stacy, there is an apartment for rent in Norwich Walken, only because I drive by it. If you were to leave Skowhegan as though you were going by the high school, you come to the flashing light, you take a right. It's about halfway down before you come to the second set of lights where the bank is. It's on the left-hand side. It starts with a 416 number, but that's all I know. But there is an apartment there as well.
That's good to know.
So just for a heads up.
Thanks. I'm putting that in my memory bank.
Okay.
I'm going to send somebody a text and they can drive by and find the number.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And I
You're
will
welcome.
say, in the past, and I think Rob, maybe Andrea too, will remember this, that when we've had families that waited until the last minute or whatever you want to call it to ask for Christmas stuff, that we've put it out to SCARP, and all the different agencies have pitched in and put together something, and someone, delivered. And speaking of which, Lisa, thank you so much for the delivery to my Gallup in Athens on the Brighton Road. She was so appreciative of that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Actually, it goes out to my daughter. She did that. I was just a delivery driver. And I know that both of them were very appreciative. That was nice. I caught them off guard for sure. But yeah, that's another reason why we do what we do for sure, is to help those that need it. Yes, Andrea, you have your hand up.
I do. So I'm not sure of the current SCARP etiquette, and I hope that this isn't sort of changing the subject a little bit. But I do want to reiterate two of the resources that I coordinate that are not really being fully utilized. So the one is, and I believe Dana has talked about it before, but it's our Somerset Community Investors Program. So we received this has been kind of ongoing for several years, but it wasn't very consistent. I operate the investors in Kennebec County, and it's been wildly successful for like the last 7 years. In Somerset, I'm trying to really grow that. We got a grant from the Maine Community Foundation for $6,000. And the goal is to reach at least 30 families, and half of it being covered by the grant and half of it being covered by community investors. So I am sending out emails every single week to our investors, which is sort of the protocol and the practice that we use in Kennebec County, even if we don't have any asks. The problem is that I have not had any asks for too long. So happily, Tara has completed an application for me, and I have it in my inbox today, so that when I do email our investors tomorrow, I will actually have something to ask them to help with. But I want to remind you, this is a resource for folks, have to be under 175% of poverty, and it has to be something that there's no other resource for. But I cannot believe that there aren't more needs in Somerset County than what we're seeing coming through our resource navigators. So those are things like beds, potentially car repairs, appliances, occasional gas cards, things of that nature. So please don't forget that this is a resource for the people that you're serving. The best way to access that resource would be to connect them. And I would even suggest a hand holding. And so you connect them either with Tara or with Dana in Somerset County. That way they can do the application with them, then it funnels through me. And I rarely deny applications as long as everything is complete. So keep that in mind. Typical requests are under $500, but on occasion we've done them over $500, especially with car repairs. The other one is the restore vouchers. So I get 5 restore vouchers for the Habitat for Humanity Restore in Waterville every month. They're for $200. Basically, it's the same criteria, have to be under 175% of poverty. Most of the folks that I'm giving these vouchers to are people that have come out of homelessness, moving into a place, and they don't even have like a couch or dishes or frying pans or things of that nature. And so I have those on the first of every month, and folks would call me
Andrea,
directly.
is that still like a one-time deal, like one time ever?
Yeah, pretty much once in a lifetime.
Yep.
I will say that there have been a couple of extenuating circumstances. One woman used it, and then there was a fire in her apartment building, so we gave her a second one. But yeah, typically it's a one-time use. And so you would just call me directly, 859-1630. So that's all I wanted to put the plug in for those two, because I can't imagine that there aren't a ton of people in Somerset County that could benefit either from getting a refrigerator that, if they can transport it, or furniture or household goods.
And just a quick note about those car repairs, because I cringe every time I hear you say that. It really does have to be a situation where if that car is fixed, it's not an old car, it's going to pass inspection, all that, because, when we first started doing that, within a couple months, people were coming right back for additional repairs. So we're, you know, that's not one of our favorite things to do, but if it's gonna get, I mean, we did do one of my guys this summer because he needed his vehicle to look for a job to get to interviews. And, you know, the mechanic basically said, yeah, this is really, this should hold him for, you know, considerable, and it wasn't a really old car. So really, if it's an old jalopy and they're just, you know, piecemealing it together again, that's probably not gonna happen. But if, you know, their mechanic is saying, really, if we do this, this, and this, it, you know, this car should be good for a number of years to get, you know, whatever, then that's something we can definitely look at.
Permanent fix to a temporary problem. Yes, Stacy?
One of the biggest barriers I've had lately is looking for like resources and scholarships to people getting into either detox, long-term treatment. We have limited amount of beds, limited amount of detoxes, and people go, oh, you can go to Maine General, and don't even get me going on some of the problems I've had there. But so to get people into detoxes that are equipped to deal with opioid withdrawals, a lot of times we're sending people out of state, and Maine Care is not covering for that. So we've been looking for assistance for scholarships to send people, and we've done the Angel Wings and the Operation Hope, and it's just like, I mean, those other resources are tapped out. I mean, because so many other Mainers are using them, and wondering if there was something in the Somerset area that, you know, was looking for resources for people looking for scholarships to be able to attend, like getting their feet on the ground if they're going to long-term treatment somewhere, because it does cost money to go there, and people's insurance will only cover so much, and then you have to get a job, and then there's transportation issues, and we know around here it's a struggle for that, and you have to move out of this town. We have the Ranch as one of, you know, a sober living house, and then there's a few in Augusta, but I mean, they're few and far between. So we're always looking for help for people when they start getting into trying to find resources for either detox or sober living houses or treatment centers. And was wondering if there was any kind of resource in Somerset County that was willing to assist with that. Yeah, Operation Hope is struggling. See, crickets, nothing.
I think that's what we're finding.
Money
is a barrier with everything, and it's hard.
Stacy, can you just give me it one more time, because my email was blowing up as your last question there. Give it to me in one more sentence.
Just looking for the resources for scholarships or financial assistance, people attending, wanting to go to detoxes, long-term treatment centers, sober living.
Getting there, like
it's either getting there or helping them. I mean, detoxes in Maine are few and far between,
right,
especially when it comes to opioid withdrawals. And we've had better success with actually having to send people out of state that are really serious.
Right.
But Maine Care doesn't cover that. So we have to find we try to go through some scholarships through those programs, or local scholarships, or their parents are doing GoFundMe's, or it's just been, you know, it's hard to do. And I mean, it's a big ask. I mean, I had someone from Oxford County actually provide a scholarship from someone from Franklin County to go to a detox center in Massachusetts after he'd gotten no treatment from 2 different places here in Maine.
How often
was my
What would the
question too,
scholarship
Ron.
amount be on average?
Yeah.
It's not cheap. It's like anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000, depending on where they're going and what other assistance that they have. I mean, some people are just looking, they've got some money that say that their families have scraped up together. Sometimes it's just, $500 to get them into a sober living house and pay their first months or whatever. But it's hard to get assistance to help with any of these things.
So always keep the community investors in mind. 4,000 is
No,
not
that's a
doable.
lot. Yeah.
But if you're all you need is the final $500 or for transportation, definitely keep that in mind.
You're on my list of resources now.
The other thing I was thinking of, I had a situation, I won't even get into the details, it'd make your head spin off your shoulders. But I reached out to somebody that I knew that traveled a lot, and it was like a donor that's donated things in the past. And they ended up being able to get like hotel accommodations with like their points, and they had points for like travel and things like that. So it was just an idea. I'm not a person who has pockets like that or travels a lot, that kind of thing. But it was an idea to bridge the gap when this person needed something pretty vital. So just something to consider.
I mean, we've put out things on Facebook pages before, like, hey, does anybody know of any places? And we've gotten rides before. Because that's another, I had to give someone needed a ride from Skowhegan area to Portland, and then someone picked them up from Portland and drove them to Massachusetts. So, I mean, there's assistance out there. People in the recovery community tend to help a lot, but it's usually financially. I mean, everybody's struggling right now. And I hate to ask, and it's like, and people hate to ask. That's one of the hardest things for people in recovery, is to ask for help.
Stacy, and in thinking about something that's sustainable, when somebody goes into, say, detox specifically for opioids, how long of a stay are we talking about? Because what sort of thinking longer term is the more sustainable piece, trying to engage with the medical community and look at what would it take to get a detox program available at our local hospitals.
So, and we've talked about this. So I'll explain something. I had two different individuals, one that needed alcohol detox. They went to Maine General, had an amazing experience. Staff was phenomenal with them. They were there for 4 days, came out, had support systems done phenomenally. Had an individual 2 weeks later go there, opioid withdrawals. Had to go in there saying, went there with support systems. They had to say that they were going to kill themselves. They had to say they were there for opioid, alcohol withdrawals and benzos, because that's just how you get in. Did say it was opioids also, but they were like, so you want to withdraw from alcohol, right? And you sort of have to play the game and follow through. And that's until 6 hours later, when they finally got into the room with their pajamas by themselves with no supports around, and talking to them over a computer, no personal experience, and asking them, you're wanted withdrawal. And so he's confused and sick now. And he goes, no, it's opioids. And then they're like, we can't help you. And he was agitated and grumpy, and I'm sure was hollering. And then they said, there's nothing we can do for you, and was kicked out. So it was a struggle, just the treatment. And because a lot of these hospitals aren't equipped, supposedly, to deal with opioid withdrawals, because you have to say it's alcohol. I don't know why. I don't know the whole scenario, but I've worked with other people. The same thing was with St. Mary's. I'm really trying to get people in there, and it was just dehumanizing and was a horrible experience. And yeah, it was hard for people. And so they ended up not getting the treatment that they said at that time that they wanted. And then it frustrated them. And they were like, I don't want to do that again. It was a horrible experience.
Unfortunately, it's based on the dangers of withdrawing from a benzodiazepine and alcohol. You're going to be real sick off an opiate, but you're not going to die from it. And that's the unfortunate piece. You're feeling, it's just, I agree with you. It's unfortunate.
So, and then one of the individuals went back out, and 2 days later, overdosed and was in a coma for 4 days. So, I mean, and then sent down to Portland, where she received treatment because she overdosed and almost died.
But she received treatment on P6 in their psychiatric ward. Most likely, or they, I don't know if it was a she, so I apologize. But it is unfortunate. You do have to some degree, play the game in order to get the treatment that you need in order to be successful. It's definitely makes recovery more challenging, or seeking services or resources more challenging after the fact. Also, Elisa, you had your hand up as well.
I had my hand up because Dana told me I needed to do this. That's why. So I was going to share my screen, but I don't need to. I put it in the chat. Crisis and counseling started probably about 2 months ago, something called open access. So you can call our number at 626, it's not our main line, 3414 Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. And we can basically straight track anybody into mental health services or substance use services. They also, it came up because we were talking about just resources and trying to like get people answers to things. Sometimes they'll have an urgent need that has something to do with case management, or maybe they're wondering about community resources. So I oftentimes, which I had to close my email because I keep getting lots of emails, people asking questions about where to go for certain resources. And this is sort of like a gateway to get folks into treatment. And maybe they're not in a mental health crisis, but maybe they have a more urgent need. And again, sometimes what comes from that is, hey, I really need food, or I really need clothing, you know, that kind of thing. Where do I get this stuff? Call Elisa, she might know, or email Elisa. And so if you have somebody that might meet that criteria, don't hesitate to reach out. Once they do an assessment, if they're like, oh, okay, this person's like in a full-on mental health crisis, that's different. Then they'll batch them over to our triage team. That's it.
It's very similar to some degree, Rob, but you were talking about that the Access Center through KBH also tries to cover the time lapse in, isn't it, from the time that they put in their referral to the time they're picked up for services?
Yeah, I mean, and that is through the CCBHC, or the Certified Community Behavioral Health Clinics, which is getting some momentum in the state. There's now actually a state contact. Sybil Mazzaroli is in that position. But not every person that comes in to, I'll use KBH as an example, qualifies for CCBHC. There are priority populations, but many do. And then they are assigned a care coordinator who works with them until their services, recognizing that there are lengthy waiting lists for many of our programs. So they're not just sitting there waiting, but they can do some of those emergent issues, some of that case management type stuff. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Brittany also shared a link on Welcome to Housing. It's a resource in the Bangor area. And I believe she will put that in our minutes as well, so you all have that. That's a great resource too. Coming out, and I know we've been talking about that as well. People coming out of sober living homes or treatment facilities and needed, your standard household items. It's nice to have a place to go do that. A lot of the free stores, so to speak, are still out there as well, I would hope, but hours and resources are challenging also. Great conversations and great new resources that we might not have known about. Stacy Danielle dropped in some contact information for you as well. For Tara, she works Monday through Friday, and Dana works Tuesday through Thursday. She provided their contact information to try to link folks to.
Another resource for heating assistance that some folks aren't aware of is the Rotary. The Rotary has a special fund they put aside for heating assistance. These might be people that have already used public assistance from the town. For whatever reason, they might not be eligible for some because of income qualifications or whatever, but if their tanks are empty and they need heat. John Lynch is the current president for Somerset County from Lynch Landscaping. Chief Bucknam will be the new president in another couple months. I don't have John's contact information, but I think if you look up Lynch Landscaping, you can probably get his contact number. This is really great information, everybody. I just want to say thank you. Like, I'm really overwhelmed by all this information. It's great. I'm just so proud to be a part of the Somerset community. It's just awesome.
Andrea spoke of her program, but Assistance Plus has the wraparound funds as well that are application based. Those are more of your immediate needs: food, shelter, clothing, permanent fix to a temporary problem. So that's something that folks can tap in as well. That's a $500 limit unless it's changed in a 12-month period, but you can reapply once every 12 months if needed. You do need to meet specific criteria as well for that also.
Did you say that was the wrap?
Yeah, it used to be your wrap funds.
And now you said who hosts it?
Well, Assistance Plus had that for quite some
but they
time.
don't anymore. Let me look up the new information for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I think it's and I guess it's a good time, if it's all right, to add this in there. Anybody who's on Facebook, I'd encourage you to, and I don't get 10% for saying this or anything like that, to join Maine Community Resource Providers. It is a group of about, 433 members, and it's folks who are kind of boots on the ground, case managers from all over the area, mostly Kennebec County, Somerset County. And if there's like an immediate need or wanting to know like wait list times or things like that, we often use it to just leverage resources and connect clients, no matter what agency we're from, if they need something, helping each other out. And so it's a good resource as a provider to be a part of, so you can search that. And that is the website where I got the information about the wrap application, but hang on just a second and I'll get that for you.
Opportunity Alliance.
Opportunity Alliance is in Portland.
Okay.
It's Angles Behavioral Health Management. I wanted to say Angles, but I just wanted to double check. And they are the ones who oversee Kennebec and Somerset counties. And you can email rap@anglesbhs.com, or there's a phone number. And if you'd like, I can just type that into the chat so Brittany could add it. And I thought the cap on the wrap application was 250, but it could be 500. I mean, 500 is always better than 250. But I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you. Any other resources that have come to mind during our conversation?
Well,
Hope
you
you
all
might-
know that we have Keep Me Warm fuel funds as well as the heat funds. So if somebody is has less, I believe, than a quarter of a tank of oil, they should be reaching out to us. You know, we've got a lot of challenges this year around fuel, and not only the price of fuel, but delivering fuel. We've got people who are waiting a long time to get their fuel delivered. So if somebody has actually applied for HEAP last year and they haven't had their appointment yet this year, I think then it's a lot easier to get the heating for them in an emergency situation. But I know that they're working downstairs for me every day with people who are calling, they're almost out of fuel. So don't forget.
There is another resource for that Andrea reminded me of for weatherization of windows. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called window dressers. And they are a resource. I think they were showcased on, maybe it was like WABI TV a few years ago. And they do like to have the Tara's nodding her head. They do like to have the folks that are benefiting from it actually help with the project as well. But they do have a website, and you can just go on and refer somebody, yourself or a client, right on the website to get on the waiting list. And it could just help with like weatherization, because of course windows. I'm not a weather auditor, but I know that my very old 1960s window quilts are still rocking it and probably saving me about 10-degree difference.
I think with window dressers this year, several communities had to kind of band together and share volunteers because they were short, and starting with Jackman and coming down river. So I don't know how they're faring at this point, but I think they're scrambling for help.
They said for this year, they don't have, obviously we're already into like the heating season. And so when I did a referral recently, because there's a link on there that says like request inserts at the top, and I dropped the website address in there, but they had said that if I put in the request that it wouldn't happen until next heating season, like next spring, summer. Of course, when are you thinking about window dressers? Probably in winter. So at least we got the ball rolling though.
So Rob's dropping stuff in the chat as well for folks. Roar has a holiday event that is scheduled for tomorrow from 1:30 to 5.
No,
This
it's postponed.
Yes, and it has been
Okay.
postponed due to the projected storm. It will now be January 6th, as long as there is no storm. I'm so excited to see winter. Anyway, and that'll be held at the Roar Community Center. I'm sure we'll have more info as well if things are going to change.
I want
for
to say
that.
it's not the Roar Community Center. It's the
Recovery Community. I'm
Coaching
sorry.
Center.
I'm just not going to talk right now.
My typo, I put the word community and it is coaching center.
We have to be careful how we word this.
Oh, yes. So it's the Recovery Coaching Center that is now located on Madison Avenue. It is sharing a building with hospice volunteers. I loved that place. Always wanted to buy that place as a little girl. So beautiful, so beautiful. And Elise is shaking her head as well.
And yes, Jennifer, that is open to the community.
How's it been going, Stacy? Just out of curiosity.
It's actually been going really well. It's been a great place for my coaches to actually sit down and meet with people. It's events. We had a good turnout for our open house. Doing some collaboration work with hospice. And I was able, and I don't know if it just all of a sudden it seemed to click. I've had a pretty good uptick in the recruitment of recovery coaches lately. So just this month, I've onboarded 2 new recovery coaches, and I have 4 more. Hopefully they'll be all recruited in January. So I'm looking forward to having some more staff. So that's a great thing. Remembering this is a volunteer program. So to get that many people that are willing to volunteer their time and put in all the training and all the supervision. So it's actually wonderful.
And you had shared in another meeting, Stacy. I find it very impressive. Remembering this is all volunteer. Last month, you did 120 hours of coaching. Yeah.
We're working between Franklin and Somerset County. We're working with 38 individuals right now. So some of them are on a daily basis and some of them are just, periodically, but we have 38 people that we're working with. So it's pretty wonderful.
That's awesome. And I put it in the chat, but for anyone, if you want training, Stacy, for any of your volunteers or staff or for anyone here, we're happy to come and do domestic violence training. Yeah. And bring you resources and all of that.
Yeah.
So I put my email in the chat.
So, and when I do get things that come across to my email, like KV-CAPS trainings and stuff, I share them with all my coaches. And they share them with, especially parenting classes, but yeah, the DV classes would be great. But I do, when anything that comes across my emails, I share with everyone. So yeah, if you have any trainings or want to, I would like to hopefully within the next couple months that we're going to be doing once a month events with ROAR in the Recovery Coaching Center and doing these events and open to the community. So maybe that's something that can go along with it. It would typically be things like you would see in a community center, but we're getting around it by calling it the Recovery Coaching Center. So yeah, and those things to engage with people in the recovery community within Somerset County. I think it's some great opportunities there.
It's a great meeting, but for respect out of time, yeah, we've got a lot of great information this week, this month, and a lot of new resources, things that I've not heard of. So that's great. And for sake of time, we're just going to wrap up. If you have any updates that you would like to go out with the minutes, please forward those to Brittany and we'll make sure that they are added. Again, if you are interested in being the president of SCARP, please reach out and let us know. Other than that, I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday and we will see you in the new year.